The time is exactly 9:49 a.m. and that means we're into the final 15 minutes, or no, 10 minutes, the final 10 minutes of the show this morning. I certainly do hope you've enjoyed all of the interviews right up to this point. And do remember, I'm standing in for Inayat Wadi for 2 more coming days, tomorrow and Thursday. And then from next week, you can join me back on my show, the mid-morning show, on a Thursday morning from 11 to 1. But right now, we'll be talking to a friend. When I say a friend, I've talked with him several times on my shows, and I know he has featured on other shows right here at Salam Media and other Muslim radio stations as well. Shabbir Banoobhai is a chartered accountant, a chartered management accountant, a leadership consultant, and a well-known South African writer. He's here to share something very sublime with us this morning on the show. And I think this is what we need. We need something soft, something comforting in our lives at this point in time, because whichever news channel you go to, whether it's international, local, TV or radio, the only thing you hear is COVID-19, ivermectin, COVAX, the death rates going up, the infection rates going up, the new variant of COVID, and it certainly is extremely stressful for all of us. And those of us that are still enjoying good health, we just continue making dua that Allah keeps us this way. And for those who are sick and who are recovering, we ask for the entire ummah, inshallah, Allah grant total and complete shifa, inshallah. But let's welcome Shabbir Banoobhai. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program, and let's listen to your words of healing and words of wisdom this morning on the show.
Oh, wa alaikum assalam. Is that Sister Julie?
Yes, it is.
Okay, sure. Just, I don't want to get that wrong. I knew it was you, but so it's worth
just making
confirming.
sure. Okay.
And assalamu alaikum to all your listeners. It's a great pleasure to be with you this morning. And thank you for wanting to listen to whatever it is I may be able to share in the next few minutes.
Inshallah. Now, just to remind you, I'm not going to interrupt you at all because you have literally 8 minutes left to share your wisdom with us. So over to you.
Sure. When we look at the world in which we live, it's a world full of extraordinary challenges. But what we have to bear in mind also is that we were created with the potential for meeting these challenges. So right from the outset, even before we came into existence in any physical sense, we were asked by God if we were willing to accept the challenge of being human, the most extraordinary challenge there is, higher than any other challenge that is possible. And we, believing in God, somewhat naive, but hopeful, courageous, said yes, we are happy to accept the challenge. So this challenge is really the challenge of knowing God, knowing the highest that it is possible to know. And it is this challenge that dominates our entire existence as to what it is that we are to know, where we are going to access the power we require to know what we need to know, as well as to do what we need to do after we have acquired the knowledge that we sought as a result of the command that we should know, we should read, we should be. So when God says to us also, as we know he says, that whenever he wants to create something, he says to it, be, and it is. But when he says be, what is he really meaning? In a sense, he's saying, be like me. I am beautiful. Be beautiful. I am just. Be just. I am knowledgeable. Be knowledgeable. I am strong, courageous. Be strong, courageous. I am forgiving. I am generous. Be forgiving. Be generous. Be progressive. Be forever renewing. Be endlessly hopeful and be powerful. Many of the problems that we have in life comes from misunderstandings that we have. So when we are asked to surrender to God's will, for instance, we seem to believe that it only relates to accepting whatever happens to us. But that cannot be true, because if that is all, that is what we are meant to do, then why would God give us the potential of his power, of his spirit, and place that potential of himself and his spirit in our hearts? Why did God breathe into us his spirit? Can there be anything more powerful than God's spirit to have within you? And if we have within us such extraordinary power, then we have to say what we are required to do is to actually surrender to the fulfillment of our potential. Find out who we are. Find out how we can contribute to making this a better world. And the surrender is really a form of freedom, because you are no longer afraid. You have accepted the challenge to be the highest you can be, to be the best you can be. And you know that in trying to be the highest that you can be, there will be difficulty. There will be things that you will fail at. And you accept the failure, but but are not limited by it. So we don't say, I will absolutely do nothing and I will simply accept everything. Even if I am oppressed, I will accept it. Even if I am hurt by life, I will accept it. Even if somebody else is hurting, I will accept it. You have to first try to do something with the knowledge that you have. So if you lack knowledge, if there is a challenge and we lack knowledge of how to deal with the challenge, the first step is to move towards gaining that knowledge and learning how to overcome the challenge that we are facing, then to confronting that difficulty, then to possibly even failing sometimes in what we are trying to do to make things better, but persevering, surrendering to the command to be the highest that we can be, and persevering until we find something that can help us overcome that can then move us to a knowledge of ourselves as well as to a knowledge of God that is meaningful, that fulfills God's command to come to this earth and to discover its mysteries, and in discovering its mysteries, to discover Him, and in discovering ourselves, to discover Him.
Inshallah.
So this is the challenge that we have, but the critical thing is that within us is a pure spirit that can never, ever be extinguished. So we need not feel afraid that by expanding our horizons, by growing our learnings in multifaceted directions, that we can in any way change that spirit.
Unfortunately, that's where we have to leave it. It's 10 o'clock
so
already.
this is where we should take comfort.
Inshallah.
That we have the potential to face all the challenges that we are facing, including the very prominent challenges we are facing today.
I no doubtedly will have you back on the show, on one of my morning shows, to explore this concept of yours much further. It's obviously a concept Allah tells us in the Holy Quran as well. The first instruction is to read, is to obviously to educate and empower ourselves. So we will pick up on this in a future show. Thank you indeed for being us on the show this morning.
You are most welcome.
I'm really sorry that I've had to cut it there, but we've run out of time. Jazakallah for being on the show.
Not a problem.
It's
okay,
10:01 exactly. Thank you for being with me on the show today. Till tomorrow morning at the same time. As always, take care on the roads. And it is Assalamu alaikum and Khuda Hafiz from me, Julie Ali.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming